Mabuhay Southeast Asia and welcome back to the the Garena Premier League. Got a little bit lost there. Garena Premier League 2017 summer season. Of course, for anything else, we're going to be introducing ourselves as your casters for today. Arctic at your service, ma'am. And of course, with me is Omi and my interesting game one that we had here. Somewhat expected that the Gigabyte Marines might take game one, but then again, boy, it was somewhat close.
Yeah, somewhat close to the point that both Ascension and GAM had their share of mistakes, and those share of mistakes just really didn't dictate the game, but those mistakes opened up a lot of opportunities for each other to win.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, but nonetheless, definitely does goes to show that Ascension Gaming has what it takes to potentially take not just a few games, but even win the series. Of course, it all comes down to how they adjust after learning from what may have been their weaknesses during game one. And I feel like ultimately the decision making was a huge factor in a sense, which is why Gigabyte Marines was a little bit more on top of things as opposed to Ascension Gaming right there. But looking at the bans real quick here, Gigabyte Marines taking away the Jace, Kled, and Thresh from Ascension Gaming, and bans from the other side, Jarvan the Fourth, Callista, and Elise.
Banning Jarvan and Elise. Jarvan has this really high win rate as of now, and banning him out means a lot of early pressure gone, unless they pick Zac, of course. But as of now, we see that Nevan picks Varus. Might be a flex pick for mid, but most unlikely it might be the ADC for GAM, knowing that No Way has been playing a lot of Varus.
Oh yeah. So this is a champion that No Way has probably one of his favorites, as I've never seen as much Varus from other teams as much as the Gigabyte Marines, but then again, it is understandable because this is No Way that we're talking about. So even like, if I'm not mistaken, the past GPL, this was a champion that he has shown to be pretty good at, even though there are much more favorable AD carries that we see right now, such as the Callista, such as the Saya.
Tristana.
But still, he makes it work. Yeah, like the Tristana as well.
And now the picks for Ascension Gaming, we see a Sejuani and Lulu locked in. That will be a jungle and might be the support. Actually, Lulu is a flex pick, might be a mid laner or a top laner as well, but most likely it will fall under the hands of Warlock. And having a Lulu in your team means a lot of protection for the carries. Also a great initiate tool as well, if ever Sejuani lands that great knockup with that dash.
Indeed. Interesting, Nooney going to be sticking with the Sejuani right here for Ascension Gaming. But another thing here is that Zyra, once again, going to be taken by the Gigabyte Marines. And I'd also like to take note that earlier during Game 1, Archie was actually playing towards top side, while it was actually Saya that was supporting. But for Game 2, we are going to be seeing Nevan going to be fielded for the Gigabyte Marines, with Archie switching over from top to support.
And now we can see that Zyra's been locked in, and having that Varus and Saya on the bot lane is just a lot of kill pressure early on, pre-6 and actually on level 6. It's a lot of kill potential for the bottom lane duo of GAM. Having that ultimate from Varus and the follow-up damage from Zyra can actually burst down and carries 3/4 of their life away. And he might take Ignite. Archie might just take Ignite actually.
That'll be interesting, actually. You know, very deadly lane that they'd have in which case. But ban here, Gnar going to be taken away from Nevan.
And we can see that Saya has been taken away from Lloyd as well. Saya has been played last game, right? By Lloyd?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not really as efficient as it were to be if they planned it right.
Oh,
but
yeah,
then
definitely.
again, Saya is just a strong carry with its own protection. So I guess removing Saya from the game will also negate that chance to dodge the combo they have at the bottom lane duo with Zyra and Darius.
So there we go. But of course, the bans we do have here right now, looks like second rotation for bans is done, as 2 AD carries going to be taken away from Lloyd, of course the Saya and the Kog'Maw, and as a last minute effort as well, they will be taking away the Lucian for mid if ever they do decide to give that to Optimus.
Looking at the Kog'Maw ban, I'm just well, it's GAM, but it's kind of questionable banning Kog'Maw knowing that he isn't a mobile champion. So it could have been an easy target for Varus and Zarya to burst down, but then again, we can't risk a Lulu Kog'Maw composition to snowball. Having that bonus attack speed from Kog'Maw's W, also range, and a lot of attack damage, percentage damage from that W as well. We can't get that Kog'Maw to snowball if ever Ascension does make it that way.
Definitely. Looking at the picks, though, looks like Ashe going to be taken for Lloyd. So, not really a lot of options, I'd say. This is actually very classic from what we've seen during the last GPL, the Varus versus Ashe matchup. So I'm kind of having flashbacks. I'm kind of wondering, wait, what patch are we on again? But looks like both sides will be utilizing them nonetheless. Doesn't hurt to have those pocket picks in case you might need to bring them out once again. But Optimus going to be fielding this Kassadin and the Rek'Sai for Levy once again. So scary just to think how potent Levy will be in the jungle, as he is one of the star players for me, in my opinion, for Gigabyte Marines.
And it's a scary position to be Lloyd right now, knowing that the enemy team has Gragas, has Rek'Sai, and has a Kassadin in GAM as well. I mean, those three champions can potentially dive him in, burst him out of the game completely, and having to be pushed back to a Zyra, you don't want that as a carry. And of course you have Lulu, you have Orianna to protect you as well, but I guess that won't be enough if ever you do get dispositioned by Gragas and straight to a Zyra or Varus ult. I mean, it's a five-man comp that can actually dive and burst any carry given in Ascension Gaming. So composition-wise, I give it to GAM.
There we go. So ladies and gentlemen, this is once again going to be the second game for today. Worlds is on the line. That's a hashtag right there, because once again, for those of you that have just tuned in, the winner of this best of 5 will be getting that first lot from the GPL straight into Worlds. So, great honor right there. It's not just one, unlike before, wherein we kind of see this finals between the Gigabyte Marines and Ascension contending for that one and only slot. But because of the performance from the last MSI, so no surprise right there, we do have 2 slots right now. So we'll just have to see whether or not it'll I mean, I don't want to discount Ascension Gaming just yet as having to take the second seed, because they definitely have a lot of fighting spirit from what we've seen during Game 1. But Gigabyte Marines, definitely a clear crowd favorite here.
Yeah, and whoever loses the game, actually, this match, this 5-game series, will still have a chance to enter Worlds if they win against YG in the losers bracket.
Ah, yes, that is true. So we'll just have to see. We're looking forward to this. But again, looking at the compositions, like you did mention, Gigabyte Marines, I'd say definitely a lot more solid in a way. Well, then again, it's understandable. Ascension Gaming being on the red side had to be a little bit more reactive. But as far as the key components and really dictating the flow, I like the control that Gigabyte Marines has. And it's kind of scary to think just how vulnerable G4 might be in this mid lane here. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading into the game once again as we have loaded now onto Summoner's Rift for Game 2 between the Gigabyte Marines of Vietnam versus Ascension Gaming from Thailand. Hashtag Worlds on the line right now. Let's see who will ultimately take that seed.
And defensive starts for the jungle camps. And I mean, if you look at the build of the AD carries at the bottom lane, they both opted for the Doran's Shield, knowing that both of the AD carries have a lot of poke coming from that volley, coming from that Q from Varus, that piercing arrow. And you can see Levi dancing here around. And they're just blocking off the entrances and exits to make sure that the enemy team doesn't ward or invade in their jungle.
Definitely. And we'll just have to see. So nothing particularly fancy happening. Again, both sides just gonna play it a little bit more on the safer side and starting off their standard start. So we'll just have to see how that works out. But then again, this is the typical nature for both teams, as we have seen even during the spring season. So old habits never die, I'd say. But then again, this is a high stakes game, I'd say, as that one slot, but looks like we'll be heading straight into this laning right now as Optimus just gets back.
And looking at the matchup of the mid lane here, Optimus against G4, the Orianna pick just has this edge until level 6. Optimus here is very vulnerable actually to ganks early part of the game, but in trade-offs, as long as Optimus hits that Q to G4, I guess it will be an even trade. But then again, that auto attack from Oriana's passive and the Q and E from Oriana as well almost assumes a win in trades.
And looking at the CS difference right now, this might be a bit tricky, like you mentioned. Optimus, until such time he reaches level 6 himself, gonna have a little bit of a struggle in the CS game particularly, as he will continually get pushed in by G4 here.
Yeah, and looking at the bot lane, Zyra having a little bit of trouble since the plants spawned in bad locations where there aren't any enemy champions. And as a Zyra level 1, looks like there's going to be a gank in the mid lane though.
Indeed, Levy gonna try to go at it. Good pressure there to kind of help alleviate any of the wounds that Optimus has right now as far as the creep score game.
And that actually opens up a lot of information for Ascension Gaming, knowing that Levi doesn't have a blue buff yet. So they might be opting for Jisoo to actually turret hug as of now, knowing that he is close at top side.
There we go. Looks like no way. And Archie themselves kind of restrained to their own tower as well. So looks like we may be seeing a lot more from Levy here as far as being across the map, because definitely he has to help alleviate some of this pressure here in order for Gigabyte Marines to survive the first few minutes of this game here, just so that they have a proper laning phase without having to sacrifice too much by getting behind.
And as of now, Nevan is just pushing the top lane, knowing that Levi is in the red side, having that faster advantage to actually respond in a fight, if a possible fight if ever. But looks like there will be a gank in the mid lane from Ascension. Optimus really vulnerable here.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna get bumped into. Optimus might have to go down, and that will be the basic attack that secures first blood going to G4.
Again, with the vulnerability of Optimus here, a Kassadin 3-6 doesn't really offer much protection against non-magic damage. But then again, we have an Oriana and Sejuani here. Both have slows and a lot of damage actually coming on early part of the game. And I mean, it was just an overextension by Optimus. It could have been avoided, but if Optimus tried to avoid that, he would have lost a lot of CS.
Indeed. Luckily, Optimus is running that teleport. It is a good precaution because that is something that you anticipate. He most likely get bullied a lot, but Warlock taking so much damage. Lloyd forced to push for using his heal in order to save his support. In exchange, Warlock as well flashed down.
Again, with the kill pressure that I mentioned earlier, that Varus and Zyra composition, if Zyra hits that snare, the whole Varus combo will surely be put inside that enemy champion. But looking at what happened earlier, it burned the heal out of Lloyd, and by level 6, it might not be up for Lloyd, and it'll translate into a bot lane double kill. Might be a double kill, and might be a snowball for No Way.
Yeah, it's very interesting because just earlier, Lloyd and Warlock was really bringing the pain to the bot lane of the Gigabyte Marines, but looks like things are in full reversal right now. Like you mentioned, Archie's plants were kind of spawning in very awkward places, but now looks like they are in total command right now by getting their own form of retaliation. Levy trying to set things here, a little bit of attacks, but nonetheless, that does help Optimus a bit. And quite surprisingly, regardless of actually concurring that death, he is still very much up to par with G4 because of that teleport advantage back to lane.
Looks like a fight will break up.
Indeed, Levy, Optimus trying to zone out G4 here. They do decide to go for G4 instead, and that'll be the kill. Nooney will be forced to back away as well. So good change of target there from the Gigabyte Marines.
Yeah, great rotation there by Levi, knowing that he couldn't take on Sejuani 1v1 at that point of the game. So he just switched target, knowing that Oriana doesn't have any defensive spells except for heal. After he burnt heal, he immediately dashed towards Oriana, giving giving himself a kill. In a 1-0-0 Rek'Sai right now, opting to build that Cinder Hulk with that Cinder emblem. I'm not sure what item is that, but it's going to be a Cinder Hulk.
Yes, indeed. So we'll just have to see. So I really like that Optimus ultimately didn't necessarily get the kill, but does get the assist, so that is a good help. Especially like we mentioned, there is a bit of a struggle towards the early minutes of this game for Optimus, but he has hit level 6 now, so he has his Swift Block. Makes it a little bit more easier to dodge and weave around G4 here. But then again, Levy getting this one kill, that is a great positive because Levy being the jungler that he is, will be able to exert a lot more pressure across the board.
Yeah, even if he's building tank right now, we can see that he opted for the Caulfield's hammer, and that gives him a 10% cooldown reduction. That gives him more mobility, having that dash on lower cooldowns. And now, if ever Optimus decides to gank bottom lane, and by that time Varus and Zyra should be 6 as well, that kill pressure will just be amplified, and it might translate into a bot lane first turret, but we're seeing Sejuani getting ready for a gank at the bottom lane.
This is something that they have to be careful of, Gigabyte Marines. Not to mention the fact that Optimus Teleport is down along with Nifun. So Nooney will be going in onto Archie though. Very vulnerable, very squishy target. Does go down, but no way in exchange manages to slay Warlock, and this might be the reverse as Levy joins the party. Gonna get to try to get the dive in. Optimus as well. Will they be able to get Lloyd taking so much damage, but that'll be the jump in. Levy ultimately getting the kill.
This is what I like about Zyra support. Zyra support, even if you focus fire on Zyra, as long as she was able to plant the plants, she will deal significant damage even if you zone her out, because those plants will deal the damage that she needs to deal for her. And as you can see, no way zoned out the remaining enemies except for who's the jungler again? Against Nooney, and actually getting a kill out of that gank as well. So it was a really efficient play by GAM. It was a 2-4-0 exchange actually.
Good for them, and again, just very telling. And what I like about this is, like I mentioned, because Ascension Gaming overcommitted to the chase just to get that kill onto Archie, it just gave enough time for both Levy and Optimus to respond to that. And this is the great thing about Optimus running this Kassadin, having the advantage of the Rift Wolf, not even needing to use his teleport actually. It was just purely
again, we
Rift
see the
walking.
replay. A lot of plants, that about 4 plants when the fight starts. Lloyd here will throw a arrow, but then he flashes out, still hits. And that's where No Way actually zones him out, and that's 2 plants dealing damage from him, and Archie still survives that fight. Archie surviving that fight made the Ascension's commitment to that gank to waste actually. It
I actually thought he went down. I didn't notice that he survived. So that's actually good on Gigabyte Marines. All the more, like that was a very close call, but nonetheless very, very much to the Marines' favor.
Yeah, and I mean, after that arrow, I mean, props to Lloyd for landing that arrow even if Archie flashed. But it was still too late, and Archie's flash was on max range, so I guess that saved him. If he flashed a little bit farther, just a little bit, it could have been landed that auto, and it could have been a 1-for-2 exchange in favor. Still in favor of GAM actually.
Yes, definitely.
Since Optimus was just really fast and responding at the bottom lane, we can see actually G4 responding afterwards, but then he was too late, so he wasted time, and instead of focusing on CSing on mid, he went on bottom lane too late.
So there we go. Gigabyte Marines actually managing to secure the Rift Herald. Very sneaky, uncontested. Like, Ascension Gaming was not in any way aware because there was actually no vision whatsoever towards that Riverside, with the exception of that defensive ward that G4 put up. But other than that, there was really nothing. So Nevan, though, gonna be running this out from G, so will easily be able to survive, though.
Nevan choosing Gragas is just a really tanky champion, even if you don't have a lot of tank items yet. But that Ninja Tabi just worked magic against Renekton. And having your Renekton's W is an empowered auto attack. That means Ninja Tabi will just negate a lot of damage out of his Renekton's W. So you can see earlier, the auto attacks of Renekton just dealt so little damage that even without mana, Levon was able to escape.
Indeed, and really, at this point, towards topside, if ever they want to try to secure, or at least pressure Nivon to potentially get a kill, then he'll actually need the backup of Nooney here, but we'll just have to see, because Nooney himself actually has quite a bit to deal with, especially with bot side here, now that with Noah and Archie kind of have the upper hand on both Lloyd and Warlock.
Actually, all the lanes of GAM is winning against Ascension right now, but top lane is kind of even. In terms of CS, GAM leads by 5, but the rest of the lanes, including jungle, GAM has a slight advantage right now. And again, with these small leads, we can see the Vietnamese teams growing from these small leads. So we might just see another Vietnamese win here. But as of now, we can't really tell. So if Ash decides to build that hyper carry Runans and Bork and will be able to survive the whole fight, Ascension just might pull off a win.
Indeed. So we'll just have to see here. G4 really trying to put some pain onto Optimus, but then again...
Looks like Ascension has a plan for...
Ooh, actually Glacial Prison actually missing out, as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So that's actually a pretty failed attempt coming in from Ascension Gaming. So Optimus will actually try to converge onto the members of Ascension Gaming that are trying to flee. G4 joins the party as well, forcing 3 members of Gigabyte Marines to back away. That's a lot of damage that Archie's taking, will be going down to G4, but Jisoo as well taking a bit of turret damage. Here comes Levy though. Will he try to make a play? That is the question. Nevin though gets some free reign towards topside, and that is a signal that's triggering him to potentially push out that top.
That was kind of sad for Ascension. I mean, GAM saw them coming, and Archie was able to land his root against 2 enemies, and the arrow missed, and the Glacial Prison missed. A lot of ultimates actually missed in that fight. And well, another ultimate miss for Ascension.
G4 getting the flash on, but G4 might actually be regretting his teleport coming in from Nevin. That is going to be the explosive blast. The turret not quite down just yet, but looks like this is going to be the bloodbath, and Ascension Gaming are the victims in this case. Down they go, and that'll be the first game at 13 minutes in the game, going to Gigabyte Marines.
And a triple kill for Optimus after losing that fight, throwing a lot of ultimates on trying to make a bot lane play. They end up losing a big team fight, losing the first turret as well, and the triple kill towards Optimus. And now we can see a replay of Optimus' triple kill.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that.
And now we can see that Ascension Gaming has all of their life bars depleted from the earlier fight, and G4 here misses an ultimate by the flash out of No Way. As of now, we can see that G4 has no defense whatsoever, and Levi snipes Warlock. And after that, it's been GAM's fight all over, because knowing that Optimus has this mobility towards the fight, all those tower dives are going to be efficient, and their tower juggling at that fight was just efficient.
That was a lot of resources used by G4 right here. Flash was down, along with the shockwave to boot. Ultimately ended in failure. He was able to force a flash though, but at the expense of an ace. Not really the best way to trade when you're Ascension Gaming right now. And as a result, we're now at a 5,000 gold deficit. And this is just going to be Gigabyte Marines. They really know how to capitalize on these monumental mistakes. And I'm just going to have to see if Ascension Gaming could slowly get back on equal ground here.
Yeah, and to think that there's this one factor that started it all. There was this one ward. The one ward in their jungle, one defensive ward that made them see the incoming bot lane play, and all the ults missed. You see how important wards are in this game. Again, with the macro game, both teams have great macro game, considering this is the finals. But then again, GAM shows up to be a better team at this point of the game.
It's up to see right here, though. Noe starting to make his rounds, making his way towards top side, uptown. And this is going to be very interesting indeed. So, Ascension Gaming might have a lot to deal with here, whether or not we'll be seeing a transition towards top. Jisoo in exchange actually getting bullied right now. You know, just earlier he was very confidently just going in onto Nevin, but now it's a totally different story that's kind of unfolding here towards top side.
That Iceborne Gauntlet in Ninja Tabi just giving him enough armor and damage to survive the lane, but looks like this is going to be a 3v1 against Nivan.
Indeed, chase does ensue though, taking quite the damage. Levy though, gonna be going into Lloyd, the most vulnerable target of Ascension Gaming here, but Noe and Archie are around the corner. Levy might be going down, but no actually manages to use the ultimate in time, but still does go down to Nooney though. Two members of Ascension are going to be doing that, but Warlock actually just commits suicide under turret, and that'll be the triple kill going to No Way.
No Way 5-0 and 3 right now. It was really a great ult there by No Way. It was a max range R. If it didn't hit, it wouldn't have made such a big impact on that fight. No Way really shined in that fight. Even if Levi just pressed a clutch R in that fight, still tanked a lot of damage and giving No Way that triple kill.
Ooh, no. Jisoo and Optimus, though, going at it together. Gonna be Rift walking away. Jisoo, unfortunately, potentially denied a kill. Trying to chase Optimus. Wrong direction, my friend. Won't be able to get Optimus, though. Escapes quite safely.
Optimus right now is just so slippery. Opting for the Mercury Treads, having that tenacity and that bonus HP from Rod of the Ages just makes him actually a AP bruiser right now. He's like an assassin, but also an AP bruiser. You won't be able to kill Kassadin with one combo. He will Rift Walk away. He will Rift Walk again back to the fight, kill your carry, then Rift Walk away back again. So that's a really big problem for Ascension, having an AD carry that isn't mobile like Ashe. And this might be a sneaky dragon from Ascension. And GAM is pinging in deep, but it is the first Drake goes to Ascension. That's a small win for Ascension.
Indeed, a minor consolation prize, I'd say. Does give them an objective to make up for lost ground here, but they still have a bit of a way to climb. We'll just have to see whether or not they could capitalize on mistakes here. But then, like we did see, the tricky part here is that in a way, there's not really that much they could do to potentially get Optimus, because he is quite slippery, smooth, criminalish with this Rift Walk. And I feel like the only way they could actually get Optimus if they're able to successfully layer a lot of their crowd control in a way that you can't really Rift Walk away, or by such time you would have taken a lot of damage. But if you're going to be doing that, then you're expending a lot of your resources. So not exactly worth if you just want to take down one target, unless if it's in a team fight maybe, but we'll just have to see how Ascension Gaming makes the necessary adaptations.
Yeah, if they use all of that resources to attack and not to No Way, let's remember that No Way here is 5-0-3, does have the QSS. So again, with the slippery tactics, GAM right now has enough tools to fight, to force a team fight and win that team fight. What Ascension could do right now is just to farm up, because as of now, Ashe and Lulu is 0-3.
It's a knock up onto Nooney, but Nevin himself taking a lot of damage, but that is going to be the bait. Enchanted Crystal Arrow soaring, flying, but doesn't hit. Levy getting the kill onto Jisoo, but the signals the rest of Ascension Gaming. That is going to be a missed shockwave though. Noe trying to balance it out. Nooney actually goes in, gets the shutdown, which goes to G4, but looks like Gigabyte Marines aren't done yet. I see the teleport. Optimus going to be joining as well, as the remaining members of Ascension will be forced to back away. But no! Optimus, lots and lots of damage, tons of damage, takes down Warlock.
Looking at that fight, Ascension just used a lot of ultimates that didn't hit anyone. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow missing, the Shockwave missing, didn't even burn the flash out of that Shockwave. So it was a messy team fight in the part of Ascension Gaming. But then again, Optimus wasn't in that fight, so it was the right choice to take for Ascension, that they had to take that fight while Optimus was out. But when Optimus was there with his TP, it translated to a kill for him as well, being the slippery assassin that he is.
So there we go, ladies and gents. Gigabyte Marines really getting the power all. But what's so tricky here is that Lloyd kind of inefficient a bit these past few minutes with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Very, very crucial misses. And the one time that it did connect, it was earlier onto Lloyd, which they weren't even able to take down. In fact, if anything, Gigabyte Marines actually managed to turn around that fight in that one time that they did get a successful Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So, again, Ascension Gaming, they have a composition, they have lots of great crowd control that could work in their favor, but if they don't land it, it's pretty much moot for them.
Yeah, and not only did the Shockwave or the Enchanted Crystal Arrow miss, early on of the game, Glacial Person missed as well. So as of now, I'm not quite sure what Ascension Gaming is thinking. It might be the pressure coming into them.
Yes.
This is the GPL finals, but then again, there's no room for Ascension Gaming to actually give in to stress, because they're facing most likely the strongest team of Southeast Asia right now.
Definitely.
And you have to think straight if you have to win against GAM. And Ascension Gaming as of now looks to be shell-shocked by GAM.
And the tricky part here is that if you're gonna think about it, during their game yesterday by Young Generation, it went all the way to a game 5.
Yeah, it did.
And if you're gonna think about it, the Gigabyte Marines versus Young Generation, they still say that there's a huge gap between these two teams. So if Ascension Gaming is kind of on equal playing field with Young Generation, then that's definitely a huge struggle if you're going to put it into retrospect that Gigabyte Marines is technically the superior team over such a team that you just pretty much go even with.
Yeah, true. And if you're in par of, if you're in the level of Young Generation, which is the shadow of GAM, I guess that means you are under GAM. But if they are a tad better than Young Generation, they should have a fighting chance again against Gigabyte Marines here.
Again, they just really have to be on point. They have a pretty good crowd control. They just need to land it, get team fights swaying in their favor. But so far, it's definitely been...
Yeah, it's definitely bad for Ascension. Yeah. And if you want to assess on how bad it is, it's 23 minutes in and there's still no Ardent Sensor for Lulu. I mean, it's the bot lane duo of Ascension Gaming is both 0 and 4, again with the kill pressure from bot lane. 2 form of CCs, a lot of damage, and of course a ganking mid laner. So a 0-4 bot lane was a little bit predicted actually, and most expected because of the composition of GAM, and they weren't able to actually hit a lot of their plays either.
Nevin though gonna be walking it away from Jisoo, but Jisoo himself has to kind of restrain himself a little bit. But you know, very typical, very classic. Just the top laners just kind of going at it.
Yeah, and Nivan right now looks like an immortal tank with that Iceborne Gauntlet, Ninja Tabi, and that Visage. I mean, Visage on Gragas amplifies his healing ability from his own spells. And of course, that negates a lot of damage from Sejuani, Lulu, and Orianna as well. And that Ninja Tabi just negates a lot of damage from... I mean, as of now, we can see Nivan can tank 3 to 4 members of Ascension Gaming for GAM. So they don't even need Optimus to tank a lot of damage as well.
Ooh, interesting. Looks like Archie, now that I realize, in terms of itemization, gonna be going the offensive route. Gonna be building towards Leander's Torment. That's gonna be very, very painful. A lot of damage that Ascension Gaming has to deal with.
Personally, in solo queue, I think Sorcerer's Shoes is a better build towards Zyra. But then again, this is pro international scene. You have to build towards what your team needs. And if your team needs mobility, you build mobility boots. If your team needs tank, you build tank. And that's the difference between international professional play and solo queue as well. You don't build to make yourself better, you build to make your team better. And that's what GAM's been doing all along.
And this is exactly why they are, and arguably, the top team in Southeast Asia right now. It's that level of respect that you need in a way, and trust in your teammates. So, you know, very indicative in a way. But
and as of now, we can see that Orianna is the only member of Ascension Gaming that has a proper KDA. The rest has been 1 KDA or I guess negative, even negative on the bot lane. So it's been a tough game for Ascension, but it is still not over since there's no inhibitors yet, and who knows, it might be a turnaround fight later on in the part of the game.
You know what really piques my interest here? This is classic Levy right here. Look at the CS, almost as though he's been in lane for this game. 208 versus a 96. That's almost unheard of. But then again, this is one of his trademark habits, and it does work to much efficiency for the Gigabyte Marines, in all fairness to him.
And it's been funny for us because we've seen Levi taking a lot of CS from it. But then again, look at the CS of Kassadin, still on 231. That means Kassadin has been proficient in stealing CS in other vacant lanes as well. And now they're looking to take the Baron.
Ooh, that's going to be big though. will they be pursuing? Looks like they will be going for the turnaround. Optimus actually at bay, gonna be going into a lot of members of Ascension Gaming. Does proc the Zhonya's prevent any further damage. Here comes the teleport though, coming in from Jisoo, continues to pursue Optimus, but that is gonna be the lockdown onto Levy right there. Beautiful shockwave. Jisoo gets the kill onto Archie, but looks like Gigabyte Marines may have been off more than they could chew here. Shut down onto G4. That'll be two members, both Optimus and Archie down. Nevon, Noe, and Levy are forced to back away as Ascension Gaming continue the chase, but looks like they may be able to escape to safety as they finish with a 2-for-1, finally in favor of Ascension Gaming.
This is the fight that Ascension was waiting for. Optimus there was kind of overconfident after having his armor and life shred from that Baron attempt. He immediately rift walks into two carries with their ultimates up and Zhonya's away.
To take down Warlock though. They have to respect the damage here coming in from Noe, not to mention there is still Levy and Nevin to just kind of hit around for him, but no way, no way you are gonna escape. No pun intended for the summer, by the way. Double kill. And we'll be seeing the triple. Yes, triple kill. Lloyd just kind of being chased out by Nevin here. But no, Optimus is actually right around the corner. Down you go, my friend, as they get the ace.
Another ace in favor of Gigabyte Marines here. I mean, I was talking about Optimus's overconfidence in the rift walking into two carries that has their ultimates up. But then again, that Baron, reverse Baron call by Ascension was even more overconfident than Gigabyte Marines' call to engage in that fight. And it might mean the game, actually.
Indeed. These are still heavy death. Not really heavy, but it's
enough
actually
time.
Just enough to take down the Nexus here. So, ladies and gentlemen, looks like in a very convincing manner, we have a winner for Game 2. It is once again the defending champions of the Garena Premier League, taken by the Gigabyte Marines. Congratulations. Man, oh man, what a game.
Really surprising turn of events there. When you thought that Ascension Gaming had their fight to win, I mean, if they didn't call for that Baron, that was a small win for them. They could have built from that lead. But after that, they tried to take the Baron a little bit too greedy for that objective and was punished, immediately punished by Noe, resulting to a triple kill and then an ace and finishing the game.
Exactly. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to finish right in that moment, but then again, that's the beauty right there. The fact that both Nevin and Levy were the ones that remained, it just allowed a good zone for Noe in a sense that I'm absolutely
I lost for words. It was
blown away.
It ended in a flash. I mean, legit ended with a flash because Kassadin flashed away after that fight, survived the fight, teleported back in, secured the ace, then they won.
Wow, I mean, again, great showing here as expected from the Gigabyte Marines, but of course we still have to go into Game 3 for match point. Will Ascension Gaming be able to go for the reverse sweep though? That's something I'm interested in potentially seeing. We'll just have to see. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, that has been Game 3 for the Garena Premier League Summer 2017 season. Wow. One more win for Gigabyte Marines and they will be proceeding to world. This has been Arctic along with Omi. We'll be right back for the next game, so be sure to stay tuned, of course. Actually be regretting this teleport coming in from Nevin. That is going to be the explosive blast. The turret not quite down just yet, but looks like this is going to be the bloodbath, and Ascension Gaming are the victims in this case. Down they go, and that'll be the first game at 13 minutes in the game going to Gigabyte Marines. Continuity, but Nevin himself taking a lot of damage, but that is going to be the bait. Enchanted Crystal Arrow soaring, flying, but doesn't hit. Levy getting the kill onto Jisoo, but signals the rest of Ascension Gaming. That is going to be a missed shockwave though. Noe trying to balance it out. Mooney actually goes in, gets the shutdown, which goes to G4, but looks like Gigabyte Marines aren't done yet. I see the teleport. Optimus going to be joining as well. As any further damage. Here comes the teleport though, coming in from Jisoo, continues to pursue Optimus, but that is going to be the lockdown onto Levy right there. Beautiful shockwave. Jisoo gets the kill onto Archie, but looks like Gigabyte Marines may have been off more than they could chew here. Shut down onto G4. That'll be two members, both Optimus and Archie down. Nevon, Noe, and Levy are forced to back away as Ascension Gaming continue the chase, but looks like they may be able to escape to safety as they finish with in a very convincing manner. We have a winner for Game 2. It is once again the defending champions of the Garena Premier League, taken by the Gigabyte Marines. Congratulations. Man, oh man, what a game.
Really surprising.